Morning. Welcome to Mom Power. Today we're going to be focusing on exercise and how to make that a part of your life so that it never leaves you. You continue to be well and do well. So I'm super excited about this topic. Thank you, Stan, for joining this morning. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, and I love this topic because
Yeah.
it's what I focus on anyway. So when I saw what you wanted to talk about, I was just like, yes.
Yeah, we started talking about it a little bit last week from the perspective of ADD, ADHD, and how important exercise was for those particular types of individuals. But I really want to focus on everybody in life general, especially homeschool moms in general, moms are sending their kids to school, private or public. Like, it's so important that we all find time and find something to do for exercise. So, what did you do today for exercise? Have you done your exercise? What does your daily life exercise look like?
Well, I'll tell you what. Every day I start off, I shave in the shower,
Hmm.
and I have a timer set outside of my shower, and I look at it, and I do 5 minutes of a cold shower. It is 52 degrees, and it invigorates my body, so it tightens everything up. It causes the body to constrict, which engages those muscles. It
Yeah.
constricts the blood flow, because now your blood flow is only going to certain parts of your body,
Yeah.
and it puts you in that awareness. And when we get done with our call, I have an under my desk a treadmill that I've purchased, and I've had it a couple weeks. But I would always go down. I would always take a walk, um, get up, move,
Yeah.
and I'm a postural specialist, so I focus on people's posture, but their ability to do exercises. And it's not just burpees and jumping jacks, but
Right.
those are great things if you
Yeah.
want to do them, but it's
Yeah.
getting that body moving.
It is
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. So earlier this year I became aware. So I'm turning the big 60 this year. So I had a lot of life goals. And one of them is to get more strength and remain strong. And so in February, I actually started working with a personal trainer because I just felt like, in my 30s, it was really easy. I got up, went for a walk, you're with your kids, you're doing sports, you're on the tennis courts with your kids, blah, blah, blah. 40s, pretty much the same thing. When you're 50s, your kids kind of move away. Well, at least it was that way for me. Your kids have gone away. So I wasn't doing as much exercise. And honestly, personally, I never really liked to exercise. I did it because I was active, I had kids, you're always doing lots of stuff. But I never really found something that I totally enjoyed exercise. Why? So I felt like the last few years I just kind of been in this slump of trying to find what worked for me. So earlier this year, I was like, no, I am not going into the end of this year and turning this significant age and really just allowing my body to decay at a more rapid rate, I felt like, right? And just wanted to keep those pounds off and find something that I would enjoy. So I started working with a personal trainer earlier this year, and I have learned so much. But one of those things is exactly what you did, because you inspired me to do that, is the walking challenge she put me up to. And she was like, which is why I wear the watch. I tell my husband, I'm not sure we should be wearing these watches. I think they have radiation coming out. But I do wear the watch to measure my steps every day. So my goal minimum every day is 6,000 steps. So goal maximum would love to be at 10,000 every day, but it puts a little bit of strain on my body if I'm getting 10 every day. But just doing those steps, 6,000 is about 2.5 miles a day,
Yeah.
which is a good rate. So that's one piece of it. But also doing some strength training. I've never lifted weights in my life. And I told her, I said, one of my goals this year is just to tone up my arms. And
Mhm.
she's like, well, we're going to start lifting weights. And wow, what an improvement. We actually did a workout yesterday. And I'm telling you, in that workout with weights, I was sweating more than if I had just run 5 miles. I don't know if what your experience is with that, but would love to hear that.
Of course, and as we talked on the other podcast with the ADD and ADHD, understanding that strength training in your 50s and 60s can put at bay and eliminate dementia and Alzheimer's. It's when our bodies
Yeah.
become stagnant, we're not moving, we're not energizing the enzymes and activating the amino acids and the chemicals in our body and releasing endorphins that we get. Well, our body shuts down. It says, hey, I don't need to do this. I don't need to produce this, which is also benefiting so many other things. And by movement, every time you move, and every time you
Yeah.
engage into an activity, you're grooving new neural pathways in your brain.
Yeah. I
It's
love
just
that.
it's just a fact. And the to no fault of our medical industry is they don't know
Yeah.
because they don't focus on that. They're
Right.
focusing
Right.
on other things, so they can't ultimately know everything. So that's what I think. This information is not just information, it is the key to transformation.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And that goes for every stage of your life. If
Right.
you're a mom in the stages of raising kids, you can also like neglect yourself from a
Mhm.
physical exercise just because you're so busy. You're running around, you're fixing meals, you're doing the dishes, you're doing the laundry, you're trying to keep the house at bay, somewhat clean, right? So you're in this constant activity of caring for others. And so the first neglect is typically yourself, right?
Right.
So helping moms realize like if I neglect myself, one thing I realized is if I neglect myself and am not up to full potential, strength wise, mental wise, the rest of the family is not really getting the best benefit for the day, because then I'm living in tired, weak, and just overall just not well, just rushing activity wise. So how do we find that time? How do we encourage moms to find that time to do it for yourself? So what is your like ideal time? Because I had to think about this. I was like, when do I find time to do this? Right? Because we do get up early. um but when do I find the time to do this?
Well, that one of the things that I want to preface is that you can't find time.
Yeah, that's a
Time
good.
is time is just there.
Yeah, yeah,
So it is giving you so much per day, every day.
yeah,
You determine how you're going to either spend the time or how you're going to invest the time, and there's a big difference there. And when I
yeah,
when I
yeah,
when I contribute that, one thing that I want to also say is that it's what we think about what we're doing when we're doing what we're doing. Now, let me say it this way: if I know that while I'm doing the dishes or while I'm mopping the floor or sweeping the carpet, I'm burning calories.
yeah,
And we go, wow, I'm burning calories. And you
yeah,
you are activating your body and you're going, hey, you know what? I'm burning calories right now. Even though I'm not on a treadmill and I'm not
yeah,
seeing the readout show how many calories I'm burning,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't wear a smartwatch. Um, because they're smarter than I am in certain respects, and that's frustrating for me. So, so the idea is to know that, hey, what am I doing? And I'm thinking about these calories that I'm burning, and
yeah,
I'm thinking how my body is feeling that I don't even realize, and so I'm starting to become self-aware. Now, I don't want to get too deep into that, but
Yeah.
it has been a proven study. So there were two sets of maids, and they were of a different descent. And one group was told, I want to say it was a 2 month study that they did. One group was told, and they all weighed about the same amount.
Yeah.
One group was told that as you're housekeeping, as you're doing the making of the bed in the hotel, you are actually burning calories and you're losing weight.
Wow.
Those that were told that dropped considerable weight.
Wow.
Those that were not aware of that stayed the same.
Oh, wow. I love
So
that.
it has to do with what we're
Yeah.
thinking about as we're doing an activity that
Yeah.
makes the difference. And as we go into the topic that you have presented earlier as we were talking, because I want to dive into that, especially with homeschool moms and kids and learning.
Yeah.
Um, it's what we think. Our mind our brain is a garden,
Yeah.
and the things that we think are the seeds that we place. Now
Yeah.
you can either plant flowers or you can plant weeds.
Yeah.
And when weeds come into your garden, you cultivate them out. You pick them out. And
Yeah.
you don't just drop them on right next to the good plant, because a weed will just, it's amazing. They can just go in. Well, that's what happens with our thoughts.
Yeah. For
So we
sure.
got to get rid of them. We got to dispose of them. We got to put them on the burn pile. We got to put them far away from what our thinking is. And as we think about our activities while we're doing them,
Yeah.
and now we give it a new meaning,
Yeah.
then um, we can be intentional about how it is that we're vacuuming. So if you're right-handed, generally you're going to right hand vacuum, but the left hand gets jealous. So use the left hand.
Yeah.
Now you're going to engage your hips differently. You're
Yeah.
going to engage your steps differently. You're
Yeah.
going to engage different muscles that you wouldn't normally. And it's going to take a little bit. But here, movement creates groovement in the brain.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
as I train myself, and one of the things that I always challenge people is, if you're right hand dominant, brush your teeth with your left hand for the next 2 weeks,
Yeah.
because you have to think about how you're holding that toothbrush in
Right.
your mouth. And it's a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but
Yeah.
it makes all the difference. One other quick thing that I do while I'm brushing my teeth, I got 2 minutes, right?
Right.
Why not do something? So I do squats while
Wow.
I'm brushing my teeth. So I
That's
get
awesome.
60 squats in.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, one
That's
squat
awesome.
per 2 seconds, and
Yeah.
and I'm accomplishing something, and I'm engaging my thigh muscles. And squats are one of the greatest things that you could do for your body.
Yeah.
Um, that it just goes under the radar.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah. That's actually one of the points I wanted to bring up today is this active learning breaks.
yeah,
You know what? It shouldn't be a break. It should be exactly what you're talking about. It's an active exercise while you're just doing life. So I love that example. Again, like you say, while you're mopping the floor, maybe double time those steps, while you're mopping, or whatever it is, while you're standing and doing the dishes, maybe do those calf raises. It is finding those things, and especially for your kids too. I think kids can become so, once they sit down, I feel like they don't want to stand up, right? So
yeah.
keeping them moving is a huge part of it. I've had several moms say to me, well, they didn't want to do it. Well, I guarantee you, the reason they didn't want to do it is because they got comfortable. You
Right,
hit a really good word this morning, got comfortable. We can all get comfortable. I can go lay on the couch and get comfortable, right? But
right.
again, it is shifting your thinking into constantly staying active. So what does that look like? So again, I know the traditional school model has been to sit in a chair for an hour and do work, read, do worksheets, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't have to be that way, right? That constant learning activity is crucial and should be, because even as you grow up, you get a job. Maybe you get a job where you're sitting at a desk all day, but learning how to integrate those active breaks into your lifestyle while you're also trying to sit at a desk and work today is crucial for the rest of your life, right? So being
Exactly.
able to do that. And I love what you said about the reps, because yesterday we did 4 sets of the same type of exercise. By the fourth time, I could tell I was ripping my muscles, right?
Right. Right.
Uh, so that continuous, even if you found another, okay, I'm going to put my toast on, or whatever it is. I'm going to put my toast on. While you're waiting for that, there's another 60 reps or whatever, so you're constantly getting your reps in. So that I love that example.
Yeah. The thing of it is that the first 3 years of our life, we've been encouraged to get up and walk and run and
Yeah.
play and kick the ball and chase after something and be exploratory and let our minds imagine and laugh and all
Right.
these things, right? And then we go to the indoctrination boot camp, and you can tell my feeling about that. Um, then we're told to sit down, shut up, and only respond when we're addressed. Now, you've got this dynamite inside this package that has celebrated their unique abilities and characteristics and their singing habits and their creativity and their crayon and their artwork and their physical abilities.
Yeah.
And now you shackle them to a chair
Yeah.
and you tell them this is the new life. Well, for 4 years or 5 years, you've confused a child and they go to school and they go, what is up with this?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
this isn't what I signed up for. It's like, campaign day, all these promises. And then when you get delivered, it's like, wait a minute, I can't wait to go to school. And this is it.
Yeah.
And the idea that has been lost is art classes have been taken out of schools. Music has been taken out of schools.
Yeah.
Physical education is no longer required all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're setting these kids up for failure
Yeah.
in the long run. And as nobody learns in a passive state. It's just very, very few, very few. I
Yeah.
won't say nobody, but very few.
Right.
When
Right.
when I was a kid, we had recess we had recess a couple times a day.
Yeah.
Then they
Yeah.
brought in that standardized testing, which there's not a human being that's standard. And so when you take away the creativity,
Yeah.
when you take away imagination, now you take away creativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the majority of the kids need that movement, that way to express themselves. And physical activity, I tell you what, if and I would put money on this, if teachers would take their class
Mhm.
and monitor it and say, hey, the first 30 seconds of every single day, we're just going to have a dance party. We're just going to jump up and down.
Yeah. That's
No
right.
judgment, just jump up and
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And then after 20 minutes or 30 minutes of teaching, do that again.
Yeah.
And watch what happens to the learning capacity that takes place in your students. I guarantee it, there's a money back guarantee that they will actually produce better and stronger, because when the mind moves, when the body moves, the brain grooves. And
Yep.
now you have an emotion that's attached to the learning event. You sit me down and I can't move, I'm not going to learn. After a half an hour, I'm bored.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really good point. But we can get stuck in that groove. So one of the first things when I started working in February is one of my goals was to get up and move once an hour for 5 to 10 minutes. You know what? That was hard for me at first
Sure
because
it was.
I had been so trained to sit here, do my work for the first 4 hours of the day, right? Take lunch, then work for the last 4 hours. Worst thing ever. So I had to actually recondition myself. And again, I encourage moms every 20, 30 minutes, jumping jacks, squats, sit-ups, push-ups, whatever it is, every 20 to 30, again, you're only strengthening yourself. You're taking that break and again, switching that brain on to function. And it does make a difference in your activity level and what's going on in your body. It makes a huge difference. And not just from the perspective of trying to get the energy out, but from the perspective of actually being focused to be able to absorb the information better. So, huge point there for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're moving, you're shifting things in your body. You're helping your digestive system. You're helping your cardiovascular. I can't tell you how many people, Mandy, that come to this state, and it can be at 30.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that, you know, the the new 30 is the old 60,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the new 60 is the old 30.
Yeah.
So you being 60, congratulations. You've joined the pack,
Right.
and you determine that you're going to have the life that you didn't have at
Yeah.
30, and now you're taking charge of that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And and you're creating a future for longevity and creating a life rather than just creating more years, because
Right.
there are people with more years, and they're in pain.
Yeah. That's a huge part of it too.
Yeah.
Is once you get to that point and you lose your physical activity, you're living in pain
Yeah.
daily. So that's a huge part of exercise as well, is just managing your body, keeping the inflammation down, moving to keep things going, to stay out of pain. It is so true. Seems like that would be the opposite, but not, right? Not at
Right.
all. Not only that, but I feel like another aspect that comes with strengthening your body at this age and working to stay continually active is you just have more confidence because you're stronger. So, over the months, I noticed, oh, I can carry more, so you really are starting to become more confident in your abilities. And I will have to say, at this age, I'm not there yet, but I will be stronger than in my 30s, most likely. Because
Mhm.
again, I spent my 30s running after kids. I didn't really do strength training. So you can totally transform your body at this age to be better than when you were in your 30s. It's really an amazing thing. I see so many social media posts and stay constantly inspired in, you know what? These are your best years yet.
Yeah. Yeah. At 20, we think that we're invincible. At 30, we think we're indestructible. And at 40, it's like, wait a minute, what happened?
I know, right?
You know?
Happened is right.
You
Now what?
know,
In your 50s, you're like, whoa, whoa, what happened now? Where is it? Where did it all go?
right,
Right?
right. Yeah. And it's having, like you were talking about, doing calf raises.
Yeah.
What I want to stress is make sure that your body is in the proper alignment, because if you train in a disproportionate position, you're going to create a condition that is not favorable.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put a plug in here. If you want to know more about that, and you want to get your body in alignment, you can't build strength if your body's not straight. It's impossible.
Good plug. Keep
You
on
know,
going with
so
that.
book a
Yeah.
call with me, and I would be more than happy to share that with you. But the idea behind teaching our children that their energy is naturally designed to
Yeah.
propel them into the future.
Yeah.
and to not to constrict it, but to guide it,
Yeah.
you know? Um, yeah, yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's so good. I know we've only got to our first point today, but it's really so important. And I really want to emphasize, like, if we had to say one way we could help moms with children. Again, moms, it's so much more important for you to make that time to exercise than it is for you to make your kids do it. Because number one, again, we talked about this before. When you're in an airplane, they say put your mask on first and then help your children. So, same thing. I really want to encourage moms, if you are not strength training, if you are not finding that activity, like, focus on that first. Your kids are naturally active to some point. You're going to send them outside, hopefully, to play, or you're going to send them to sports activities. Most moms in America today have their kids enrolled in some type of physical activity. So you've already got some things going on, most likely. But what about you? What about you, mom? What are you doing? Because you're just breathing and relaxing in those times,
right.
which you think are trying to benefit your body, but not most likely, right? The best thing you could do is to get active. So how are you going to do that today?
Okay, so one thing that I learned from a mentor of mine, Jim Quick, and he
Yes.
is the brain guy, the brain coach. And
Yes.
what he talks about is if you take and cross your hands, so you
Yes.
take your right hand, index finger and thumb, and bring it to your earlobe and do the opposite. And you massage that and you do 20 squats while you're doing that. You're actually wiring the left and the right hemisphere together. And
Wow.
as you put a smile on your face while you're doing that, just do 20 of them. It will change your energy. Like I did this with a gentleman in a morning talk, and I said, do that. And he sent me a message and he said, I don't know what the heck that was, but he said, I've been wired all day long. And he said, I've had energy. He said, it was amazing. The
Wow.
thing of it is it's a simple, simple, simple thing that you can do.
Yeah.
If you do that with your kids, watch what happens. Watch, I know there's a mom out there going, I don't want my kid to have any more energy. But what you're doing is you're wiring their brain. So
Right.
now you're channeling their
Yeah.
energy in a productive manner, and
Right.
done over a period of time consistently, you're going to get great results.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love
anytime
that.
I go to learn something, I'm doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's the challenge for today. Is That's our challenge for today, everyone watching. Do the twist, right?
Yep.
Just cross your hands and do
Yep.
20 squats. That's your challenge
With a
today,
smile.
with a smile, to see how that impacts your day. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the challenge. And let's see, let's do that for till Thursday when we see each other again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
see how that's actually rewired our brain. I think that's huge advice today. But also, exactly what we're doing right now, we'll just hit another point for today, is making it challenging, making it competitive, gamifying it.
Yeah.
Again, I do that to myself somewhat with a watch, but when I have another person with me, just like we've already initiated this challenge before Thursday, it makes it so much fun and so much easier to do, right? Because then you're thinking, oh my gosh, I got to do this because I said I was going to do it. And I'm going to see what the challenge is and see how many squats he did. Maybe he did 30. Well, maybe I should do 40. So putting a little competition to some things that you're doing within your family, within a friend group, is always helpful.
Exactly. Yeah. I love the challenge.
Right. I think especially for those children who are competitive.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that will help them harness some of that competitive nature, and then always also just focus on going to the next level. And then just bonding with those who will hopefully bond a lifetime with you to help you maintain that program. So, moms out there, I know you have to have some other mom friends. And today, there's so many apps that will allow you to create a group and become exercise buddies. So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she said, this is her response. She's like, yeah, me and my friends, we were doing this step challenge. And she said, we started our minimum step challenge was 10,000 steps. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's about my age. And that's a lot for your body every day, in my opinion. But they started with 10,000. And she said, yeah, I'd get to 10,000. She said, and went to 14. And she's like, after about a week of that, like, I was like, you guys go ahead and do your challenge, right? So sometimes you can max yourself out. Like, I will say, if you're doing 15,000, 20,000 steps a day, depending on your age, it might be too much for your body. So always listen to your body. Another friend of mine yesterday, I was talking to her, and she said she was doing 5 workouts a day. And she's like, she's a believer, and she's like, praying and asking God, like, I'm exhausted, my body's overworked. Uh, and he's like, why are you doing all those workouts every day? Like,
Right.
common sense, like, listen to your body. She's like, oh yeah, I don't really have to, but she had just kind of worked up to a level, but her body was responding to that in a negative way as well. So again, pluses and minuses, but really the key is, and you help me understand this, is listening to your body.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can overdo it. You can become overzealous. And you can take a good thing and turn it negative, because then, you can burn yourself out and then not ever want to do it again.
Yeah.
So it is just being consistent
Yeah.
and using it in an energetic way that inspires you to want to do it more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about just one more point before we take off today. And that is, another way that families can get together is that, maybe there's, doing nature walks, hikes. I know my husband and I like to go hiking. So keeping those constant outdoor activities set up in your life. So it's going to rain all week here for us, so we won't get out a whole lot, but we constantly try to go to waterfall hikes or climbs. We live near the mountains, so we're always trying to make, but let's talk about how key that is, for keeping that type of activity in your life. Like, how do you so we try to go at least every other week, take a hike. We've got a nature preserve right here. We try to do a little bit more often. If you have a pet, like a dog, that's an awesome way to have to make yourself take a little hike around the block. But what do you do? What's your ideas on that?
Well, I love being out in nature, and I love going out and cutting dead trees down, cutting them up,
That's
because
good.
I burn in the winter. So I get in with the nature, and I love outside work. I love gardening, and one of the things that I love doing is with my granddaughters is going barefoot out in the grass.
Oh yeah.
And so, to make it fun. Okay, so I have a leaf blower,
Yeah.
and so I took the nozzle off and I shoved leaves in there. Well, I had them pack leaves in there,
Oh, wow.
and they don't like the high noise. So I turned it all the way down to the lower button, and I then put the nozzle back on, and then I shot the leaves up in the air, and they were just having a blast. And they love mud puddles. So
Right.
in my driveway, I've got a couple dips that
Yeah.
collect puddles. So one of the things we did yesterday was we went outside, and it was hot, and I just ran the hose. Now they're too young to know how to turn the well handle on. Okay, so
Yeah.
they don't realize where it comes from. They just see it coming out of the hose, and I've
Yeah.
got the hose, 25 feet away. But these are the things, and then
Right.
we'll run, and I've got a ditch behind my house, a
Yeah.
swale,
Yeah.
and they know they're not supposed to go towards that. But it becomes a game. It becomes gamifying. Now
Yeah.
I'm running after these kids, okay,
Right.
and keeping them from getting into the ditch, especially when it rains.
Right.
And I'm then carrying them back 60 feet while then the other one runs. So
Right.
it's back and forth. So I'm getting my exercise. They're laughing like crazy. I'm putting them on the ground. They're getting the negative protons from the ground, so it's
Yeah.
actually good energy.
Yeah.
And then we're watching dragonflies and butterflies and looking for snakes and looking for gardener snakes, not anything else,
Right.
and frogs. And oh my gosh, it's just so. And the other day we found grasshoppers and a little baby grasshopper. It didn't have wings yet, so all
Yeah.
it do is hop.
Yeah.
And these are the things that you can do outside that you can make fun. And it's like when the leaves were falling, the one day I was just raking them up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that got to be old. So I got the blower. They let me get the blower and I put it on low setting. But these are the things that we can do to make it fun, not only for them, but for us. And yes, you're going to burn calories because if it's humid like where I'm at, you're going to burn calories.
Right.
And
Right.
enjoy it and just be a kid again.
Yeah.
You know, this idea that we need to become prim and proper when we age, it's a bunch of crap. I'll
Yeah.
just say it like that.
Yeah.
Go out there, have fun, get dirty, get muddy, get wet. When
Yeah.
it rains, go out there and play in the rain. When my kids were little, we would dance in the rain. It was just so fun.
Yeah.
Those are the things that you know, just participated in.
Yeah. That is so good, and that's a great word to end on for today, is keep it fun. Um,
Yeah,
because you're right, we can get into this even, "Oh my gosh, I gotta walk like 5,000 steps today, more than I'm doing right now," like, so, let's do it, but you're right, let's just keep it fun as well. So, and part of that is just doing it with other people, right? Your grandkids are perfect to do that with because it keeps it fun, laughing, exciting. I think my husband and I are going to have a little fun doing the new exercise squat
yeah,
today. But keeping it fun and laughing while you're doing it is a huge part of the journey. So I hope
absolutely.
that we've been able to bring some insight into our exercise today, something to share with you, something to invigorate you, inspire you to get out there and just start moving. Final words, anything? I think have fun is the final word.
That's it. Have fun and leave a comment.
Yeah,
Okay. So if you didn't get anything out of this, you definitely need to make a call with me.
yeah, absolutely.
We'll have some fun conversation.
Yeah,
Keep it fun, keep moving, and we look for the comments. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that's
All
it.
right. Thank you for joining. Again, if this has been helpful for you, like, subscribe, follow. We look forward to having another conversation with you. We just got through a few today because I think this topic is so important. So continue to look for these conversations just to inspire you and help you to think, oh, yeah, let me do that today. So we have a good one for Thursday. So we'll hear a good report. All right, everyone. Have